to be unaware of something and all that comes with it is a very difficult process to overcome. Because your perspective is like you haven't touched water and now you have to go swimming. This is a very scary thing for us as humans when we have something in our life that we've never really had a grasp on. We might be curious about it. We might even desire to have it. But it's just something that we personally haven't had it embedded in our previous lifetimes. Or maybe it was, and it's really buried deep because of some trauma. And so you have this unease about it. Whatever the subject is, we tend to all have this one thing that is just, difficult. And you want to know more, but at the same time, there's this avoidance, like, it's gonna be okay. You tend to rely on other people to assist you, or even get into toxic habits and behaviors to get what you want because that is easier. Even though you might not like it, it is easier to do that than to actually learn the thing and find the perspective and embody the presence and energy of whatever that thing is. It's different for all of us. Now, there's many people who are very curious about consciousness, very curious about spirituality. They actually watch a lot of videos on it. Like, what is this thing? How do I understand it? How do I go through it? This is something that I've been an expert in since I was a kid. Like, it's just in me. It's who I am. I have traversed realms inside of the understanding of what we know as the inner parts of us. When you close your eyes, what's there? If you've never explored anything, you'll see the back of your eyelids. But if you truly, really understand all that you are, you feel all of the layers of yourself, and you can conceptualize what this is and that is, and you create stories and all of these things. Creative people naturally are a bit more tuned into these things. There's layers to everything. There's levels to everything. You can know 1 centimeter of something and feel like you are the god of the subject. But when you are the person who actually knows the entire depth of it, you know that there's always more. And this is actually something that I spoke when I was really young. I was about 12, 13 years old. While everyone else was on their social profiles, I had MySpace. It was the first one available. And I put on mine, if you think you know, you're only fooling yourself. You were made much more complicated than that. I knew. I've always known. It's just the way that it is. Now, I've explored a lot more things since I was 13. add on 20 something odd years, it changes you. I still have that same belief. From all that I have experienced, there's still more to experience. And only through experience can you actually know. You can memorize equations all day long. But when you get into the world of spirit, of yourself, of your mind, of your consciousness, of your own internal lineages that's attached to you in different ways, if you're attached, if you're not, all of these things are a part of the puzzle pieces that make up you. It is a completely different world than the logical terms and conditions that we're used to. Where you look at a book, there's words there, there's a picture, you can read it, you can memorize it, you can be tested on it. But more like how algebra has these weird numbers, like why do we have this number with those letters? And I remember the first time doing these mathematics, I was like, okay, this is easy. Everyone else was like, why do we have letters? This is a numbers game. But algebra's never been a numbers game. It's about seeing the perspective of something different. And that's why it's so difficult for a lot of true mathematicians to get so excited about, because it's about seeing something from a perspective. It's about what is this letter and that letter in this situation, but what about that situation? What is this letter and that letter? Right? There's so many different ways that you can change out variables, and this is a lot more how spirituality is. You're always changing out the variables. There are equations that create all that exists, but these equations are even evolving as we evolve as a species. And that's why there is no concrete text that will tell you everything. Now, there are certain aspects that you can look at and say, okay, well, that one sentence is great and it's still true on that plane of existence. But then you have 16 other planes of existence that all create different equations that actually kind of change the whole meaning and how you see it. So you see how I've kind of gone down in a rabbit hole, and you might be like, what is she even speaking about? I get how all of this works. I can see it in the infinite planes of existence that we are. When we have an area of our life that we're not quite in tune with, we want to know more, because we want to have a grasp on it. We want to have a handle on it. We want to know more. And for me, I never truly started studying all of consciousness and the knowledge of the depths of who I am until I got into a partnership that didn't serve me, but that person wanted to know everything that I knew. So there was this replication and mirroring where I started to study it and get into the knowledges and understand the occult things that were going on. And it is similar to being religious. You really turn left when you were meant to go straight. Now, there's a lot of valuable things that I'm sure, I can bring to the table from my experiences. Well, there is. But the main thing that is the most important thing is that I learned through this whole process is learning to build the trust with yourself and having the correct people around you. Now, this is going to seem like it's a bit repetitive. Everywhere you go, they tell you, have the right people around you. Well, I saw what this does on an energetic level in the depths of who you are that you may never, ever experience yourself. Because they're pretty different than the logical mind. Most human beings will never ever need to go there. If you are a person of wealth, you will need to know a lot, but you will not even need to know this much. There's a lot of places that I went to and I embedded within all that I am, so I get how these places are very different. And it allows me to be the authority that I am, because there are parts of me that are in different dimensions. I guess that's one way of saying it. Another way is like saying different levels. It's kind of like if you're on the 50th story in the penthouse as a human and the elevator goes all the way down into the core of the earth. Like, it's a little bit excess. Like, you just don't need that, right? But if you went there, you went there, right? You got to see what was there. Was it exciting? Maybe. Was it really worth it? It could be. Did it show you stuff? Of course. Does anybody need to go there? No, not at all. It does a lot to the self-trust to go past a certain point. You know, you only really need to go to a certain level. And once you're at that level, it's really about solidifying and expanding the trust that you have with yourself. Because once you create positive communication with parts of yourself that might be what you feel like are further away, that have more power than you, that are made differently than you, but they're you feel them. As long as you can communicate, that is one of the key elements, but you have to know how to speak its language and it has to know how to speak your language. So there's this tuning that really is required for you. I've gone to many places and I understand how all of these things operate. So, I guess I have some knowledge behind me, but at the end of the day, all of these knowledges are not required for you to build this beautiful, trusting relationship in maybe a few basement levels of your penthouse 50-story tower. You have built yourself an amazing empire and you should know a few basement levels. It's going to help you really glean a better life for yourself, more satisfied, more feeling comfortable within yourself. And these are things that are really easy for me to help you understand how it operates and how it shows up in your life. Because when we're in a place where we don't have a perspective of something, it's the unknown to us. We want to know more about it. We do our research, but we might just not get it because we haven't been there, we haven't experienced it and embodied it, right? There are things in your life you're an expert at, you're super good at, you have your boundaries, you know what's what, that's all that it is. You don't need to go any further. But there's parts that are just like, why does this keep showing up? Why do I not dream? Or why do I dream all the time? Or why is this always happening to me? It's just these odd supernatural experiences that you tend to get to a place where you're like, I just don't want to experience that because it's so odd, I don't know it. And then there's a time in your life that you need to experience those things, that you require to experience those things, which will help your business, it will help your life, it will help your relationships to have an understanding of maybe 3 or 4 basement levels of your 50-story tower. So when you get to have a conversation with me, I make it really tangible for you to navigate these things because I can help you relate where it's happening in the top realms. Maybe it's on the 3rd floor. Okay, on the 3rd floor, you have a little cafe market on your 50-story building, and this specific thing that keeps happening that feels weird, it's attached to that. Because of my extensive knowledge, understanding, and experience, my ability to read the veins of your own energy is just second nature to me, just the way I am speaking to you. I can see things and connect them and go, oh, so you recognize when you walk a little bit uneasy and you have that hurried pace. That's level 5. Level 5 has to do with this area of your life. So do you notice this and this and this? And then you sit there and oh, okay. And I can help you connect the dots so that you can get to a place where you're comfortable with your life and how it has its roots in places that you might not have full experience and perspective of. So I give you a different perspective. I show you how it shows up. As we have conversations, it makes it really tangible to listen to your intuition instead of scary. Now, it took you a lot and you knew your intuition in order for you to be in membership. So you have some intelligence about yourself. You know your general direction. You know certain things, and that's why you are a wealthy person to begin with, because you are tuned into that, but you just don't get certain things, and there's certain veins of thought you don't understand, and you don't want to take the elevator into the basement levels. Your parking garage and basement levels are just something you're just like, I can't. It's not worth it for me. That's why when you sit down and have a conversation with me, I make things really tangible for you so that it just like, oh, okay, it might not be the equation that you want to hold on to, but it's a place that you're going to get used to understanding and knowing. Now, if you're a person that's really looking to go deep, well, I've got that too. I can have a conversation with you and we can sit eye to eye and you can feel comfortable being all of the being you are. If you're a highly intuitive being, you run your business on intuition, you're continually at the forefront. Having a conversation with me will be very sobering because you'll see more of yourself than you ever have before. Because I always go one level deeper than you're conscious of, so you'll understand where you can expand into on an energetic level. I'm not somebody who's going to have a conversation to you about blasting your ceiling off. I'm going to show you how to reach deeper in your roots so that you can have a way higher something than a ceiling. It blows the roof off of things and reconstructs another third of the building when we go down one level, when you're on certain levels. You have to see where you are. This is where I meet you at. And I show you how to tangibly walk into these places. Whether you just want to be on the 3rd and 4th basement level, or you're looking to go to a really deep place. The deeper you go, the more odd each level gets. That is a factual thing. They all have a different way of communicating when you get into certain places. And I'm going to tell you, it is just the way that it is. So as you go deep, you will have to have certain aspects of self-trust and certain things that are built within inside of you in order for you to continue without feeling like you can't go any further. You'll understand when you are there, and that's just the way that it is. Sometimes we need to understand and know our spirit and our intuition to bring balance. And sometimes we need to know our spirit and our intuition so that we can have a greater sense of our own vastness and our own eternal possibilities. There is so much to have, and there's so much to feel, and there's so much to see in this existence. To be around someone who has the mastery in a place that you would like to expand into is one step. The next step is knowing that they have it and that they're a person who truly can navigate through anything. And I know for a fact that for me, I have gone through places that I can pull anything out of. I've been where I am highly intuitive and highly insightful, and I've gone to places where there's not much to be seen, but I still see everything. There's an internal knowing on how to navigate these places that is far beyond anything that can be logically explained. The things I do are impossible on the minute when it comes to these realms, the things that I do and I comprehend naturally. I want you to feel more comfortable in your own spirit, in your own consciousness, in your own understanding of who you are. By owning more of yourself and taking more responsibility of yourself, you just feel better about living. You just feel better about doing whatever you're doing because you have more to you. You feel more presence about yourself wherever you go, and it's so beautiful. The only way to have a conversation through my website is through membership. I only have one option. You choose membership, and from there you can read the terms and conditions. And at the current moment, I am offering with membership 1 phone call. This is where we get to know what you're really looking for. Or maybe you don't know what you're looking for, but you just know that I have an answer for you. That's very possible. I have a lot of answers. I usually know the answers before you have even pressed pay. There's a lot of you that have a lot of things around you, and those things around you will be alerted to the fact that I will show you more of who you are. And that in itself is a threat to a lot of people. Now, I want you to understand something. It will only depend on how far you want to go, will depend on if you need to change your life circumstances, or everyone will just comfortably adjust with the new you. Just depends on the people you have around you, depends on the depth you wish to go to. Whoever you are, you have innately special abilities in whatever you specialize in. You are the shining star of that. So where you are absolutely on the penthouse suite of your 50-story building, I celebrate that because that's who you are. And I understand what it's like to be in a vulnerable place where you don't quite understand the perspective of something that you want to know. It's not a fun place to be, and you don't want to connect with just anybody. And I get that, and I know because I've experienced that. Now I want you to understand something. I have your best interest in mind, but it's not maybe what you might think. And it's not attuned to you. Is it me attuned to myself? Because I can give you the answers only when I am fully myself as a closed circuit. And then you can do what you wish with those things, and I can be that reflecting mirror. But I will not be anyone that you can connect to or attached to. This is how a lot of spiritual people work, and it is actually a very toxic, love-centered way of embezzling their way into your energy. So I want you to know that I will not be doing that. You will not feel extra super fuzzy feelings around me. You're not going to feel like you're in love with me. You're going to see me like a muse. Like, wow, there's the fascination here. And I have a full choice to make in my own full responsibility to choose membership with her. So that when I'm there, I can see what she has to offer, to see how that adds value to my life. I will not be connecting with you. I will not be doing anything that connects me to you in any way. This is a very, you are your world and I am my world. It is extremely important that you understand that. You're not gonna feel a lot of very warm, fuzzy, we're best friends feelings. You're gonna get, this woman is the best at what she does, and I'm glad that I get to be in the presence of this so that I can learn and glean what I need to. And that's really, really important for you to know, because majority of spiritual people are very much creating a lot of enmeshment, a lot of connections that will hurt you in the more than it will help you. And I know this because I have previously had this in client relationships years ago. And it was something that I learned how to stay far away from, and built a completely different way of creating a service that gives you the absolute best without any sacrifice on anybody's part or any attachment, but purely the absolute best possible. Especially in the spiritual realm, this is really important. If you are a high wealth and high value person, you need to be isolated to be the pure consciousness that you are, so that you can continue to be the greatest version of yourself at all times, to continue to maintain everything in its highest integrity. The only way you can find me, like I said, is my website. It's linked in the description below. It's spelled ENYELAH, ENYELAH.com. Thank you for investing in yourself to understand more about who you are, the perspectives that you do have that are extremely powerful, and the perspectives that you are still taking a grasp at to understand and know to make your life more comfortable.